Let's move on to our team selectors then. I think we can all agree on the goalkeeper, Alisson Becker, but I'll come to you, Theo, first for the back four. Obviously, we spoke about how well Reece Williams had done before, but if Joel Matip is back and available, presumably, you'd put him straight back in.
This is an awkward one with the back four because it's usually something you don't want to rotate, but then it's like, well, you don't have the midweek game. What do you want to do with it? It would be very easy to go tried and trusted, put Joel Matip back in and go for your strongest back four, but maybe there is a case there to say Fabinho could get a rest and you keep Reece Williams in. It's just a hard one to call, isn't it? I think when you don't want to rotate too much in your defence to keep that stability, so let's trust Joel Matip. Let's keep Fabinho in there for now, Trent, Robertson, and hopefully Liverpool can be 2-3 goals up by 60, 65 minutes and you can take one of them off.
Do you go along with that, David? Obviously, an 8-day gap for Liverpool after this one. They can go as much full strength as possible, can't they?
Yeah, I think with Joel Matip, like Jurgen said, it was very close, wasn't he, to making the Tottenham game? It was just sort of a last minute thing that he didn't quite make that one. So I think you do bring him back in, and you try and keep some consistency in defence if possible. So I think to go with that sort of familiar back five sort of makes sense to me, definitely.
And I'll stay with you then for the midfield as well. Naby Keita back. He almost came on as a substitute midweek. Do you think there's a case for maybe him coming in, or do you go with that same three again?
I just think the concern about sort of, rushing players back and being very careful with both Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, who've had injuries in the past, might sort of lead Klopp to lean towards maybe going with tried and trusted. I think this is sort of my theory for the whole team, to be honest, is, other than maybe Matip is maybe thinking about the possibility of just saying, okay, we've got 8 days after this, which is important training time for the likes of Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain. We've spoken about the other players who can come back. So can you just say to this 11, okay, just give me one more game. Let's just try and get through this one, try and get the points on the board, and then we'll see where we're at after that. So I think in midfield, my picks would be Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Jones, just to try to ask them to do one more big push and then give them a rest further down the line.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with those three. I think there's a good chance we could see Oxlade-Chamberlain come off the bench. What do you think, Theo? Is there a case at all for Naby Keita?
Naby Keita's certainly a player that when you rush him back, he seems to break down again. I think we've seen it a couple of times, haven't we, in the past month? So for him, it makes sense to give him the full week of training and see where we're at then, use him off the bench because you don't want to risk him breaking down again. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I don't think he's had a substitute appearance yet, has he? So it would be a big ask to just throw him in from the start when he's just finding his way back into the side. But then I still think, having not made the substitutions, Jurgen Klopp will want to change something a little bit. So I suppose Takumi Minamino is really the only other option you could put into that midfield. And it's which player do you have dropping out? I'd say Henderson starts in that deep role. He's so important to how Liverpool play. And when they've been in this spell without Van Dijk, without Milner, they need his leadership. So Curtis Jones, he's been in such good form. Let's have him keeping his place, and Gini Wijnaldum can be afforded a rest.
And up front then, Theo, I'll come to you first on this one. Diogo Jota progressing well in his recovery, but still some time off him being back in the team yet. I suppose with that being the case, it probably picks itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's probably going to have to be the tried and trusted front three, isn't it? Firmino, he's got his goal now. It'd be a right kick for him if he got withdrawn. If he was on the bench, he'll be on to get that run of games and run of goals. He's had form at Crystal Palace before, and the same said of Sadio Mane. And Mohamed Salah's in the form of his Liverpool career. If I've just had Minamino in midfield, I think the only other attacking options are Origi. We've already said that he might be on his way. So yeah, we'll go for the tried and trusted front three.
There is a bit of a question over Sadio Mane, though, isn't there, at the moment, David? Not scored, I think, for 9 matches now for Liverpool. But again, you just put him back in because even if he's not scoring, he's still offering a huge amount to this Liverpool team.
Yeah, I thought in the Tottenham game, sort of summed up where he's at the moment, because he had a really difficult time up against Aurier for a lot of that game, and Aurier is not typically don't think of him as one of the great defenders of the Premier League, do you really? But it's just things just aren't quite going for Mane at the moment. But it's just what I thought was brilliant about his performances. He just keeps going. He doesn't let his head drop. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't start kicking out at players. He doesn't let it get to him at all. He just keeps trying, keep pushing. So I think you got to keep him in the team, and I'm sure the goals will come. He's just too good of a player for him to stay in this run of form that he's in at the moment. He just maybe needs one to sort of bouncing off his knee from a corner or something like that, and then he'll probably get on a run again. So yeah, I think I'd agree with Theo there. Is stick with his front three again on the theory that let's get one more push out of them and then see where we're at up to after that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time, isn't it, before Sadio Mane gets himself back onto the score sheet. And I'm going to back him in my prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool in this one. I think Sadio Mane might just break that little bit of a run. Theo, I'll come to you first for your prediction. What do you think it might be?
I think it's going to be 2-0. Like we've seen in the last few weeks, Liverpool, they've looked a bit sluggish in the earlier kickoffs. If there had been fans in for Crystal Palace, I think it'd be a very different game. It had a big impact for Fulham last week. But without that little boost, and when they've also had this quick turnaround as well, I'd like to think Liverpool can have enough in the legs to get a more comfortable win that we've seen recently. Like I said, Firmino and Mane, they've definitely got form against Crystal Palace. They like a trip to Selhurst Park. So hopefully they can get on the score sheet again. Same again from them.
And David, your prediction for the match?
Yeah, I think I'll back a 2-0 as well. I think maybe one of those where Liverpool get a goal in the first half, try and control things, and maybe get a late breakaway. And if you could get 3 points on board and sort of avoid any more injuries, that'd be considered a perfect day for Jurgen Klopp. So yeah, I'm backing a Liverpool win.
Yeah, absolutely. Liverpool wins all round then in our match predictions. It could be a difficult game at Selhurst Park, but fingers crossed Liverpool can win, pick up the 3 points and guarantee themselves top spot in the Premier League on Christmas Day. For now though, from myself, Matt Addison, from David Lynch and from Theo Squires, until next time here on the Blood Red channel, it's goodbye for now.